and less than slash. If anything in between less than slash and greater than symbol, simply we called it as ending tag. So browser can understand whenever we mention information, whenever we mention some text in between less than and greater than, it can understand this is the starting point of the element, means starting tag. So once we mention slash, less than slash and followed by text and followed by greater than, so that browser can understand this is the ending point of the information, right? And including all. So from starting to ending, from starting to ending, we call it as an element. We call it as an element. So for each output item in our browser, we have one element. If you see heading, for heading also we have an element. If you want to enter some data in a text field, so before going to enter, then we have to see the text field, right? To enter username or password something. Then for that also we have to write one element, means input element. So if you want to see one checkbox, then that is also one element. Then we have to write element script in HTML. As we know, element is a combination of starting tag and ending tag. This entire data, this entire information, technically, terminology wise, we call it as element. So we have, what about button? Button is a button is an element. Button element means at the beginning and at the end till end. So whatever the content, whatever the data we have, we consider that as a button element. So in button element, we have starting tag and it represents the beginning point of this element and ending tag. So it represents ending point of that element. And this is the data. Just a moment. Pujita, what is this? I shared a jump file with the meeting. I didn't understand. What is that? Can you please explain? Okay, no issues. Okay, we discuss it. Got it. Okay, once again, element. Element is a combination of tags. So starting tag and ending tag. Generally, most of the time, each element has starting tag and ending tag. And in between, we can mention data. So this is the way we have to write script in HTML. And one more thing, in this element, actually this is assume this is the button element. In this button element, how many tags we have? Two tags. One is starting tag, another one is ending tag. Starting tag, ending tag. So simply we consider button element is dual tagged element. Dual tagged means here we have two tags, starting tag and ending tag. That's why button is dual tagged element. So we may get a doubt. Do we have single tagged elements? Yes, definitely. In HTML, we have two types of elements. Dual tagged elements and single tagged elements. So in single tagged element, so we cannot find any ending tag. Everything we have to mention in one tag only. we called it as starting tag generally. So for that element, if you have only one tag, we called it a single tagged element. Single tagged element. And if you have starting tag and ending tag, we consider it as dual tagged element. So for dual tagged element, example is button. We can see so many examples later, but as of now, for understanding, button. Button is dual tagged element. And what about the single tagged element? For example, if you want to go to new line, you want to go to new line. Then we have single tagged element. Means simply we have that element name is BR, means line break. Line break. For example, if you want to draw one line on our browser page, horizontally, if you want to draw one line from starting point of the screen and up to ending point of the screen. So for that, we have one element that is HR. That is also single tagged element. Single tagged element means in that element, we cannot find two tags. There is no starting tag, there is no ending tag separately. For that, we have only one tag that is HR. That element name is HR. Means horizontal rule to draw one line on our browser. To draw one line on our browser. So in HTML, we have two types of elements. One is dual tagged element, another one is single tagged element. And one more point, elements can be nested. Elements can be nested. We can write one element inside another element. We can write one element inside another element. అంటే ఒక ఎలిమెంట్ లో ఇంకొక ఎలిమెంట్ ని రాయొచ్చు. ఒక ఎలిమెంట్ లో ఇంకొక ఎలిమెంట్ ని రాయొచ్చండి. We call it as nested or parent or child. Parent element, child element. Suppose button అనేది parent element అనుకుంటే inside a button we can write one more element. అంటే ఇక్కడ లాగిన్ ప్లేస్ లో మీరు ఇంకొక ఎలిమెంట్ ని రాయొచ్చండి. ఇంకొక ఎలిమెంట్ ని మెన్షన్ చేయొచ్చు. Okay, for example, if you want to display some image on a బటన్ మీద ఒక ఇమేజ్ ని మీరు డిస్ప్లే చేయాలనుకోండి. నార్మల్గా ఏంటి టెక్స్ట్ లాగిన్ అనే టెక్స్ట్ ని చూపిస్తున్నాం. బట్ ఇన్స్టెడ్ ఆఫ్ లాగిన్ టెక్స్ట్ ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు డిస్ప్లే వన్ ఇమేజ్, ఒక ఇమేజ్ ని బటన్ మీద డిస్ప్లే చేయాలి అంటే దెన్ వాట్ యు డు, ఇన్సైడ్ బటన్ ఎలిమెంట్ వీ కెన్ రైట్ వన్ మోర్ ఎలిమెంట్ దట్ ఈస్ టు డిస్ప్లే ఇమేజ్. సో ఇమేజ్ ఎలిమెంట్ ని మనం బటన్ ఎలిమెంట్ లో మెన్షన్ చేయొచ్చు. సో దాన్నే మనం నెస్టెడ్ అంటాం. అంటే ఒక ఎలిమెంట్ లో ఇంకొక ఎలిమెంట్ ని మెన్షన్ చేయటాన్ని నెస్టెడ్ ఎలిమెంట్ అంటాం. నెక్స్ట్, సో హౌ టు రైట్ స్క్రిప్ట్. ఓకే, యాజ్ ఐ సెడ్, ఫర్ దట్ ఇనిషియల్లీ వీ కెన్ గో విత్ నోట్ ప్యాడ్. అంటే నోట్ ప్యాడ్ అని ఎందుకు అంటున్నామంటే, సో బేసికల్లీ సీ దిస్, to execute this HTML script, no need to install any separate software. That is for sure. ఏదైనా ప్రోగ్రామింగ్ లాంగ్వేజ్ రిలేటెడ్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని కోడ్ ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయాలి అంటే we have to install relevant software. But coming to HTML కి ఎటువంటి సాఫ్ట్వేర్ ని ఎక్స్టర్నల్ గా ఇన్స్టాల్ చేయాల్సిన అవసరం లేదు. So by default, our browser, you can take any browser is capable enough to execute HTML script by default. So మన బ్రౌజర్ అనేది HTML స్క్రిప్ట్ ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయగలుగుతుంది. సో హౌ టు ప్రొవైడ్ దిస్ డేటా